Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm talking about the new Captain America film, Captain America Brave New World. This is the first time in a Captain America film where Sam Wilson, who was formerly known as the Falcon, gets to pick up the mantle of Captain America since Steve Rogers passed this on to him in the events of Avengers Endgame. So that's what's kind of neat about this film is it's not only a Captain America film, it's also a very Falcon-centric film that gets to see him transition completely over to the Captain America role that Steve Rogers has since passed on to him. But in this movie, though, you guys, we do follow Sam Wilson, like I mentioned earlier, and he gets invited to this White House event after becoming Captain America for a little while now because the events of Falcon and the Winter Soldier from Disney Plus, those events of that show have kind of been acknowledged in the early stages of this film. And so at this White House event, the President of the United States, who's now General Ross, for those who have been following, the Marvel stuff so far, he's definitely an incredible Hulk-related villain. He is now the president of the U.S. in the Marvel universe, and he mysteriously gets attacked while doing this press event at the White House that Sam Wilson gets invited to. And through some research that Sam Wilson and his new Falcon friend, I believe he's referred to as Red Wing throughout this movie, do some research on after President Ross gets attacked. And they come to the conclusion that this person that performed the attack on President Ross was under some type of spell or was hypnotized in some way to basically perform the actions that he did. And so over the course of the film, they got to do research. They got to go to laboratories and all this other stuff that's linked to this person that might be responsible to doing all these actions. And over the course of this film, they have to track down a character that's been exposed to gamma radiation, the same way Bruce Banner has earlier on in the franchise. So they have to track down somebody that Bruce Banner knows personally, and this all happens over the course of Captain America: Brave New World. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed this film quite a bit. What made me worried about this film is it only has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, at least as of the recording of this review. And I was worried that I was going to be one of those people that fell into the category of not liking it as much as the people that did enjoy it, because 50% is about 50-50. So some people really liked it, some people really hated it. Luckily, I am a part of that percentage that really enjoyed this film, and I am going to go over some positives and negatives as to why I felt this way. So for my positives of Captain America 4: Brave New World, first and foremost, I thought the complexity behind the character of Thunderbolt Ross was very good here. Definitely a character where he's not completely evil, not completely good. There's kind of this middle area that they keep using for him. And Harrison Ford took over the role of William Hurt since William Hurt has since passed away. It wasn't available during filming of this movie. So I like the complexity of the Thunderbolt Ross character, how there's some bad in him, some good in him, how both of those worlds kind of mesh together, and how he's not completely good, but he's not completely bad. There's kind of this middle gray area that he keeps falling into, and I like all the possible scenarios that the film plays out with him of how he's both a good character and a bad character. So it was a very fun character to watch over the course of this film. I also thought Anthony Mackie's performance was also very good here. I also like this new co-star that he gets to work with. Like I said, he's either referred to as Red Wing or New Falcon or something like that. But whoever his co-star was, I thought he was very good in this film as well. And like I mentioned too, Anthony Mackie's performance is very good here. I've always really liked him as an actor, and I really like what he's always brought to the Sam Wilson character. It's a very good performance here. If there is indeed more plans with him in the future, I am all for it, whether it is him being Captain America or Falcon. I just really like his charisma and his performance that he always brings to this Sam Wilson character that we've been watching him play over the course of this film. I also like the overall message of doing the hard work on your own, because there is a message here where people are really not believing in Sam Wilson because he didn't take the super soldier serum the way that Steve Rogers did when he took up the Captain America mantle. And so the whole film is about that he really had to kind of work his way up, do all the hard work himself. All these missions, all these villains, all these tasks that we've seen him do so far have all been on his own. He really has not had the extra super soldier serum to help him achieve some of these tasks the way that Captain America previously did when Steve Rogers was that character. Um, so it's just, I think it's a really cool message. I think it's a really great message to send to people on always working hard, always doing the best possible performance you can on everything you do, because there is a payoff to it at the very end, and you also get a lot of respect for it. And I think that's a great message to have in a film like this. I also like how they brought the political thriller vibe back to this franchise. Captain America 3 Civil War was kind of more like an Avengers 2.5 kind of a movie. It wasn't quite, an Age of Ultron epilogue, but it wasn't quite a early proceedings of Infinity War quite yet. It really was kind of a Captain America film where the Avengers are divided with each other. So I do like how they kind of brought back the political thriller vibe of Winter Soldier, which was the second Captain America movie, and they really made it feel like this political espionage thing that had to be resolved over the course of this film. And I think that really helps this film out and really makes it the best possible film it can be. So I do like how they brought back the political thriller vibe from the second Captain America film. There's also a complex character named Isaiah in this film, and for those who saw Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're probably going to grasp on right away as to exactly who that is. Very fun character, very complex character. You're very understanding as to why he doesn't really like to deal with government officials after this long history that he's had, and how the film catches you up on those things as well. So I like the complexity of the Isaiah character. Very fun character to watch here. Also very well performed just here by the actor that played him here as well. My other positive too for this film is there's some really fun cameos in this movie. Don't want to get into spoilers, but I'll just say, without really saying anything, that the cameos are really fun here. They are characters from the past that you are excited to see in another Captain America film like this. Great to see them back here, and it was very fun seeing how they got incorporated into a Captain America story again. For my negatives of this movie, though, why it's not exactly a perfect Marvel film, why I still really enjoyed it, but still has some negatives with it. My first problem is there's this character that's related to Black Widow that's kind of a part of the same Red Room origin that Black Widow was from, and she's trying to be like kind of this like bodyguard character to President Ross in this movie. I really didn't buy her character very much. I thought she was just kind of a generic bodyguard type of a character. Didn't really bring anything to the film at all. I really wish they could have found another character that is more connected to the comics and is more so connected to the Captain America universe. That could have been more fun to incorporate here. But for the most part, kind of an unnecessary character. Really didn't get anything out of her over the course of this film. Another problem this film has is it does try to balance too many subplots at once. It is trying to be a continuation of Eternals. It is trying to be a continuation of Captain America. It is trying to be a continuation of The Incredible Hulk. And it's trying to be a continuation of a lot of other Marvel stories that we've seen so far. And for the most part, it does kind of have a hard time balancing all those things because it is only a 2-hour film. Though I do appreciate and admire that they did try to kind of tie up some loose ends with some of these films that I mentioned here. For the most part, I do feel like it has a hard time juggling around a lot of these subplots that it already is too busy to keep its mind occupied with already as is. So I thought they could have balanced all these overall subplots a little bit better. I also thought Sam Wilson overall is just a more fun Falcon than he is a Captain America character. I would love to see him lead the Avengers. I would love to see him do bigger things with this character. I think it's a much more mature character than where we found him at in the Winter Soldier. But for me personally, I thought I just really like watching Sam Wilson as Falcon, and I love watching Chris Evans as Captain America. So it is one of those things where, because I love Sam Wilson so much as Falcon, and it's perfectly okay if they want to give him a sidekick like what they did in this movie, I like, at the end of the day, watching Sam Wilson / Anthony Mackie as Falcon. And it is one of those movies where it doesn't completely persuade me of him being the new Captain America quite yet. Maybe in another film or two I'll probably open up to a little bit more. But at the moment, I just personally like Sam Wilson as Falcon and not Captain America. I also thought there was some occasional noticeable green screen throughout this movie. I would say when we start to get to the more of the Red Hulk stuff, which has been promoted a lot in the trailers and in the marketing of this movie, there is a lot of pretty noticeable green screen when we get to those moments. So I thought that aspect of the story could have been better handled. And I know there's a lot of reshoots done with this movie, so I'm sure that hurt this production a little bit. But unfortunately, there is some moments where you do kind of notice the green screen a little bit. I also thought the musical score of this film, unfortunately, wasn't anything great. There's just a lot of times where, like, Sam Wilson will open a door, try to talk to Thunderbolt Ross, and then the score all of a sudden will just pause and not be visible. And there's just a lot of times like that where the score completely pauses in place of a character talking and stuff. And I think some of the best scores we've ever had are the ones where the score could still happen while the dialogue is still going on. And this is one of those weird movies where it almost feels like the musical score completely stops the second a character starts speaking in a scene. And it just felt like a very odd way to take on a musical score for a Captain America movie. It just really didn't work for me very well. But overall, I'm going to give Captain America 4 Brave New World 8.5 out of 10. There's tons of admirable things about it. It's a very good Marvel movie. I think it's a much better Marvel film than people are giving it credit for, specifically the Rotten Tomatoes critics. But like I said, there is some negatives along the way, like the Black Widow character, the trying to balance too many subplots at once. Sam Wilson trying to be more so Captain America than Falcon, I think is kind of a mistake at this point. I like seeing him being a Falcon that can lead a team rather than him just straight up becoming the new Captain America. Some occasional green screen is pretty noticeable here. And I thought the musical score having this weird pausing technique was very kind of off-putting in this film as well. But 8.5 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed Captain America Brave New World. I recommend seeing it. It's an 8.5 out of 10. And if you enjoy Captain America films and if you've enjoyed the Marvel Universe films so far, I think it's worth checking out. There's just enough great things here where I would recommend seeing it.